God isn't always like we expect him to be. There doesn't seem to be songs for the tax collector. And what we learn from this story, God isn't always like we expect him to be. And then Jesus told this story. Two men went up to the temple to pray. One was a Pharisee, and the other was a despised tax collector. One is going to leave on good terms with God, and the other is not. One of the gentlemen is a very religious fella. On the outside, he's got it all together. And if God had a varsity team, this guy's playing varsity. The Pharisees are this group of folks who've arisen who say, hey, it was our unfaithfulness that brought us here. Therefore, if we can become faithful, then God will return. He'll rescue us, he'll cast off these Romans, and then we'll be the great empire that he wants us to be. They misdiagnose who God is and what faithfulness looks like. They misdiagnose what God is after. That's the attitude of the Pharisees. He's after the heart, not the ritual. The ritual is given to drive a good and loving heart. The ritual is given to drive us to love God and love neighbor. They miss that point. The other gentleman in the story he's on the opposite end of the spectrum. Who's got a lot of mistakes, who's got regrets. He hasn't been in a church for a long time. He's not really a good guy, involved in activities that probably ought to be illegal, that are unethical for sure. Like a drug dealer who's selling drugs in their own community. Imagine that's how a tax collector feels. Would go collect taxes from my own people that would go to the very empire that is oppressing them. I can collect additional and extra on top of that and line my own pockets. I'm getting wealthy, Rome's getting their taxes. Meanwhile, I'm working to oppress my own people. Both of these gentlemen are going to approach God. Jesus says this, the Pharisee stood by himself and he prayed this prayer. I thank you, God, that I am not a sinner like everyone else. In other words, thank you, God, that I'm not like those people. For I don't cheat, I don't sin, I don't commit adultery. I'm certainly not like that tax collector. I'm not that guy. I fast twice a week and I give you 1/10 of my income. In other words, thank you, God, but really, aren't you glad I'm on your team? Because I'm pretty sweet. You're pretty lucky to have me on your team, God. That's how this Pharisee prays. We think we've white-knuckled ourselves into God's good graces. And then we look around at everybody else. And then we say, you're the problem. Fix yourself. This is the trap that religious folks like me and a whole bunch of the rest of us have fallen into. On the other end of the spectrum, you have tax collectors. Look at how the tax collector prays. But he stood at a distance, and he dared not even lift his eyes to heaven, because he's so ashamed. Because he assumes that God doesn't really want him. And he beats his chest in sorrow as he prayed. He says, "Oh God, be merciful to me. I am a sinner." You imagine that God is just sitting up in heaven, his arms crossed, his brows furrowed, like he's continually angry and ticked off at us and ashamed of us. But that's not what the story says. Look at how Jesus concludes the story. It is so powerful. I tell you, this sinner, not the Pharisee, returned home justified before God. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Did you hear what he said? I tell you, this sinner, not the Pharisee, the sinner, not the religious guy, returned home justified before God. Those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled. I live in this illusion. I have all these high expectations of myself. People have high expectations. I assume that God has these extraordinarily high expectations of me. And then I live in this illusion that I can somehow be perfect. That I can somehow live up to those expectations. That I'm okay when I think I'm doing well. I feel good about myself. And I look at everybody else, and I feel like I'm in a place where I can judge, where I can condemn them. Because, hey, I can figure this out. What the heck is wrong with you fools? Wherever you are, if you feel prone to that temptation to judge others, and you don't delight in the people around you, I think you've missed the mark. Then you're off somewhere. Or whether you're prone to the opposite end of the spectrum, feel the self-condemnation. You've got shame, you've got regret, and it's tearing you up, and you feel like you don't have to work hard to convince me I'm jacked up. If you